All right. Ultimate Fighter Season 27, Episode 5 recap. Suman, what's going on, man?
What's
You were
happening?
in this episode a lot, man. They kind of previewed you very well leading into next week's episode, which they
Yeah.
haven't done really in the previous episodes, which is kind of focusing on your injury that everybody kind of knew about already, but not really. Now, before we get into the injury stuff and next week's episode, let's talk about Tyler Diamond's artistic endeavors in the house. Is he is he a good artist? Because they try to
He,
throw that artist shit out there for some
no,
reason. I
no,
don't know why.
he is actually, all the guys are pretty creative. Richie Smullen was pretty shit, but like Tyler was pretty creative. He had like real cool like drawings. Like he's a smart guy. He would always be drawing like houses and barns and things. Like he was designing his own house, that like he wants to build and stuff. And he had like logos in his book. He was pretty artistic. Um, even Joe Giannetti thought it was pretty artistic too, but I reckon Tyler was the best artist in the house probably.
Oh, so that's why they kind of shot that in the episode, little real quick.
Well, that's what it like in that house. You got to find a way to keep yourself like pretty occupied, like best as you can. Some guys obviously like write in their journal. Obviously, some guys write in their journal more than the others. Um, a lot of the guys were drawing, or they were like just like painting things or whatever it was. Like they got texters and they started making photos, anything to kind of keep the time like going. I kind of had the same schedule every day, and it always ended up with me in the spot at night with like a few of the guys. Tyler was one of those guys who just stayed warm, stayed inside, and drew. But that was cool. You know, everyone had to do something. Everyone had something different in the house. Like Gunther, for example, like had his own things that you'll see. I'm sure at some point they have to show it at some point in the season. Um, he had some pretty funny things, and you seen like Bryce Mitchell. He was making his bow and arrow.
Hmm.
Um, everyone had something to do.
Yeah, you think that Bryce and Gunther getting together and getting into some adventures would be something that they would spotlight on the show eventually, right?
Like I said again, if you ever were gonna get like lost in the woods with someone, it would want to be one person would be Bryce. If you're gonna get lost with another man in the woods, right? You really, really wouldn't want it to be Gunther, right? Because like, I thought he was a serial killer when I first met him. I'm like, there's something wrong with this guy. Him and his like little mullet, the mustache. I was just a bit creeped out by it, but no, they're pretty. They need their own TV show. Bryson and Gunther need their own TV show.
A survival show, but Gunther doesn't really know how to survive, and Bryce has to teach him all the shit.
Oh, trust me, Gunther knows how to survive. Gunther is far smarter than you think. I think he's so smart that he seems stupid, but really he's just smarter than all of us.
Oh, so he's like a savant or some shit like that.
Yes, exactly.
All right, so they in the beginning of the episode they kind of spotlighted you going back and forth with Tyler. Tyler was saying like he was very sensitive about the whole situation, which we knew that he was sensitive because of the first episode. He was sensitive about you calling him out, and they kind of went back to that on the episode. And if you look on Twitter, people are kind of going at Tyler for being sensitive, if you noticed.
Yeah, people are going at me as well, but like being like, "Oh, why didn't you just do the fight? You should have told your coaches that that was the fight that you wanted." Like people can
You
have
did tell
their
your coaches though.
I did, but like they're like, oh, like I should have taken charge of my career and said that no, that's the fight I want. But in that thing, like you can't really, um, I was there to do whatever was kind of asked. I stated my opinion. At the end of the day, I was gonna do whatever was asked of me, and that's just how I am. In a situation, it was kind of annoying because those times when like those other times when Ricky was mentioned, but no one like most of my coaches were like, yeah, like Diamond and you was a fight. And then as my injury kind of got worse and worse, their tone kind of changed, and I could understand why they seen that I was like really struggling training. Miocic seen that I was struggling. I was trying, but I just wanted to be as good as I could. It was a very, very frustrating time for me. I think that them kind of taking over and saying fight Ricky, I think was trying to take some stress off my shoulders, because they knew that I wanted the Tyler fight, and they thought maybe don't go in there with that emotion, like that I want to get this fight or something. But sometimes that makes you better. But everything happens for a reason, and me and Ricky have to face off.
Now, it's interesting because they knew you were injured, and they still wanted you to fight the next fight, which is kind of odd. Wasn't there one more featherweight left?
Yeah, so that's something that they kind of don't show in the episode. When they had said, like, about the matchups, I said to them that I want to fight next. And my reason for saying I wanted to fight next was I said I was confident in going through. And I said, when I win this fight, I want to have more time to recover for the semifinal.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, if I wait till the last fight, I possibly only have a couple of days to recover and have to fight again, because I don't know where I would be in the semifinals. So the way I thought about it was, my injury is not going to get better in a couple of days, but like right now, but it will get better in a couple of days post fight, but it won't get better in like 3 days. If you kind of get what I'm trying to say, like I needed time to recover after the first fight. So I said, fuck it. Like I said, if you guys are going to make me fight, and like you guys want me to fight Ricky, who's a kicker, I knew that Ricky's going to come in and he's going to try and keep his distance and kick and stuff. If I'm fighting a kicker, I need more time to recover, because I know that my body's going to take a bit of damage. So that was kind of the thought process behind me going before the last fight. There was one more fight, but I chose to do that fight.
For sure. That's good logic.
Some people might think it's a dumb idea. Some people might think it's a smart idea. But like at the Ultimate Fighter, you're gonna kind of got to think on your toes, and that's what seemed like the best option to me at that time.
For sure. Now your knee injury, was it something that you had the whole time, every episode? So something that happened during practice, that happened during training, against who? How did it happen?
I wouldn't really be able to pinpoint who it was against, because it happened over a training session. I think I might have been with I think I might have been just drilling something. It was something super small, and I might have just been warming up, or I wasn't warm or something. I was drilling something off the wall, and then I just felt like a bit of a pain in my knee. And then when I kept trying to go on, I remember I stepped, and then as I stepped, like nothing even hit me. I felt like something just click out of place, and then the next hit I kind of took on the knee, I felt like a massive pop. Like it happened in stages. And then I tried to just walk it off, and then as I tried to walk it off, it like kind of snap, crackle, popped again. Like I just heard my knee breaking down, so I'm like, ah, shit. Sat down, and as soon as I sat down, the pain just started getting to me. Within maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes, my knee was like completely blown up. Like the swelling on my knee was crazy, and every step I took started hurting. I started getting real frustrated, heaps annoyed. But yeah, you see what happens to my knee over the season. Obviously, right now it's like you've seen in this episode, I just got like a bit of a fluid thing in my knee, and I just had to go on with it however best I could. Like I said, I came there to fight. I came there to leave an impression, and no knee injury, no injury was ever gonna stop me in that situation. I wouldn't give up when I've come that far.
How long did it take you to decide that you needed to go to the Performance Institute and get your knee actually checked out?
They actually sent me there straight away. It was like the next day. But the next day, I went to the Performance Institute twice in that time. Like they showed one clip, but I went to the Performance Institute twice. The first day I went, they kind of couldn't move my knee too much because of the swelling and stuff like that. So he just kind of massaged around my legs and tried to take away a bit of the inflammation. And then I think it might have been like 3 days later, I went back again. And then the swelling had gone down. I could move my knee a bit more, but every time I moved my knee, I just felt it like cracking every time. Like I just felt my knee cracking every time. And, when they looked at my ligaments, we didn't get a scan or anything. We just kind of, I didn't want to go to the doctors. Obviously being in that situation, I was just like, oh, I need to go. Like someone will be able to tell me what's wrong with my knee. So I went to Performance Institute. They said everything was all right. And that's what I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. I just needed to hear that, like, my ligaments were intact. And then whatever it is, like, I'll deal with it after. So I just kind of put it at the back of my head and got through with it.
When you were at the Performance Institute, it showed that one of the coaches, what's his name? Darren Wid. What was he doing there? Did the fighters hang out at the Performance Institute or?
No, and that's kind of why it was like a bit of a shock to me. So when I went to the Performance Institute, no one was told. So my team didn't know I was going, and the other team didn't know I was going to. I kind of like snuck out of the house. And when I went there, obviously I'm getting treatment, and it's kind of like a secret treatment. Like I didn't want anyone knowing about my knee. I didn't want the other team knowing about my knee, especially. So when I was going there, I kind of asked the staff, I'm like, oh, no one from Team Cormier will be there, right? And they said to me that, nah, they're not going to be there. And I went, and Duran and Cain Velasquez kind of showed up for their own training session. Mm-hmm. They weren't with the whole team. It was just like a couple of them. And they seen me in the room, and then Duran kind of like stayed outside the room for a little bit, watched, and then kind of came in and started pointing out my knee injury and stuff.
Oh, that's kind of, I don't know. In one way, it's like, yeah, they could be training, at the Performance Institute, but then in another way, it's like, did somebody go and tell them that you were getting your knee worked on?
That's what I thought. I was like, this has got to be like some type of conspiracy theory. This has got to be set up. Like, how can they have said there was no one going to be here? But like, sometimes you didn't know. Like, if I was a coach on, like, say, Team Miocic, if I wanted to go to the Performance Institute, I just call them up and I go. You don't have to really tell the TUF staff that you're going to the Performance Institute, I guess. Like, they're kind of separated. So it was just a pretty funny coincidence.
When you guys got back to the not the house, but to the gym, to the TUF gym, you guys you and Darren got into it a little bit, and Darren was kind of poking fun at your injury. Is that why you kind of got angry a little bit? Because he was poking fun at the injury, not really not really pointing it out, but he was poking fun at it,
Yeah, well, that was kind of what it was. Like, I was trying to avoid like situations like that. I wanted to avoid arguing with anyone or anything. Like I said, I'm not there for that. Even though I've been kind of on this episode, and I'm gonna be on the next episode and stuff, and I've been on the camera quite a bit. When I went there, my goal was to try and stay off camera. I didn't want to get into arguments with anyone. I just wanted to kind of relax, and I just wanted to train and fight. That's what I was there for. To learn, get better, train, fight. So when, like, a lot of arguments happen, like you seen with Luis, I just wanted to de-escalate the situation. And with Duran, I think I just got a little bit emotional when it came down to it. I shouldn't have reacted like that. I should have just kind of laughed it off. But in that situation, I was worried about what was happening, even though that, like, I was told my ligaments are okay and stuff like that. I don't actually know yet. I just had someone like touch my leg and feel it. I haven't had scans. I haven't had this or anything done. So I've still got like my own little insecurities about that. And for someone to come and kind of throw it at that, it was getting to me at the time. But it is what it is. Like I said, when I was on TUF Talk, it's a competition, I can understand why they're doing it. They wanted to get under my skin, and I guess they did get under my skin with that. But it's all cool. It's not that big of a situation anymore. I got through it, and that's all that matters. I tried to just handle myself, and that's it.
For sure, man. Now let's talk about the fight. The fight
Oh, yeah.
between Trizano and Thailand
Thailand.
Clark. In the first round, Trizano, did he drop Thailand Clark? Or was it the
No,
other way around?
I dropped Trizano.
Yeah, Trizano, right?
Yeah, he
And
caught him Stefan.
yeah, and that fight was weird, to be honest with you, because Thailand Clark, he tried to wrestle
Yeah,
a lot, and he was winning on the feet, which was weird to me, and I think that lost him the fight eventually.
yeah. I think that I think he was swinging well, and I think he was catching Mike a lot coming in.
Mm.
And he caught Mike, and it was that he came in and tried to wrestle and tried to mix it up. In this game, you have to obviously try and mix it up, but you also got to stick to where the success is coming from. I think that, like, you never know. Maybe like training around Team Cormier made him want to wrestle more. Maybe he thought, hey, if Trizano lands a takedown before I do, I could lose the round. So they're trying to win rounds by making sure they're getting the takedown. And I think he gassed himself going for the takedowns, and he had nothing left. It was weird. I thought that Thailand was gonna just keep banging, but it was weird to see him clinch up and go for like double legs and stuff.
Yeah, I was like watching it like, what is this guy doing? He was doing so good from distance, and he wants to press the guy against the fence and go for takedowns. And Trizano is probably better than him on the ground, which we saw later on that
Yeah.
Thailand Clark couldn't get back up once Trizano got on top.
Fighting in that tough gym is different. Very, very different. Like it's an experience that I wouldn't be able to exactly describe, but it's a weird atmosphere. And like a lot of fighters, I think, like some guys rose to the occasion, some guys didn't perform to the expectation. But everyone's done pretty well. Like anything can happen when you enter that cage. You can't really say too much about the game plan itself because we don't exactly know what their game plan was. We still don't know. Like we seen that they were training and stuff, but we didn't hear too much of a game plan in this episode. In Brad's episode, we kind of heard a game plan a bit more, and some of the guys you've kind of heard more of a game plan, like even Jojo and Gunther. But
Yeah.
in this episode, we didn't hear too much about it, so I'm not too sure. I know that Trizano was like kind of confident going anywhere into that fight, and he kind of stuck to his game plan, kind of ended up where he thought and finished the fight where he thought he would as well. So I guess the guys that are sticking to their game plan are winning, and the guys that aren't losing.
Well, do you think it's part of Thailand Clark being very stubborn? So DC and the other coaches didn't really have a game plan for him because if they did have a game plan, he probably wouldn't stick to it anyways. And
Maybe,
so they just
maybe.
let him do what he does.
I wouldn't be surprised if like the coaches said something to Thailand and he was like, "Nah, I want to do it this way," or maybe he wanted to prove a point with the wrestle. Maybe he wanted to show Dana White that he's well-rounded. That does play an effect in people as well. When I was in the back, the most nerve-wracking time for me was the moment that Dana White popped his head in the door and he was like, "Hey, good luck out there." I'm like, "Oh shit." Yeah, I just shit myself. But like that can kind of even change your mentality. But we don't know.
Yeah,
Hopefully
mentally.
we see. Do you think we'll see many of these guys back in the finale?
Well, if you get finished on the show, most likely you're not going to be back on the finale.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. But the yeah, that was one of the weirdest fights of somebody winning a certain way and then changing their game plan and going another direction because of that.
I didn't watch the whole fight until I actually seen the episode because, like I was running kind of in the back for a second. I was just doing something out the back. I was running out the back, coming back, and And the glimpses that I kind of saw, I was like, oh, he got dropped 1 second, and I think I went somewhere and came back, and the next thing I know, I seen Mike was on top beating him up. But it seemed like a fun fight, but it was just a weird fight.
Yeah. It wasn't a bad fight. It was just a weird fight. Yeah. And then Mike was just beating the shit out of him for a while before
Towards the end,
they stopped.
Mike's a fit, strong boy, like I said. And I think that hit that he got, like, kind of woke him up a little bit. But yeah, I guess we'll see how he goes in the semifinals now.
For sure. What was I gonna say? Now the momentum is shifting to your team. You guys finally got a win. How was, like, when after the fight, how was your team? You know, the environment of your team. Did it change any, or was it just like, oh yeah, we won? But
to be honest, not really. Didn't really change that much. It was just always business as usual. Like, obviously the coaches were super relieved, and we were like, we were obviously relieved that, like, okay, imagine we became that team that went 0-5, 0-6, 0-7, and then ended up 0-8. So it was good to kind of just get one out of the way, especially before my fight. It was like a bit of a relief for me. I'm like, okay, thank God, someone brought it back. So it was a bit of a relief, but like the mood didn't really change too much. We were pretty, like, when we got back to the house, we were pretty respectful and stuff like that. We didn't kind of try and rub it in anyone's face, unlike some guys.
well, yeah, it seemed like the other guys were rubbing it in pretty good after their fights.
Like, they won, they were always like barking and stuff, but that's all cool.
Now, in the next episode, there's some previews little leaking out there of Dulani, getting under people's skin. You got Joe Giannetti, and then you got Luis Pena. Pretty angry about what's gonna happen. So I think this episode is the one to watch. Especially you get to fight, and then there's that other stuff going on in the house with them. It's boiling, I guess. People are getting tired of being around each other, and little things are getting annoying amongst each other. So, and Dulani's out there just barking all day like an annoying dog.
Hopefully my episode's the most exciting so far.
Hopefully. But, when you look at it, you did an interview on Tough Talk, right?
Yeah.
And if you dissect that, think of all the fighters that have done interviews on Tough Talk.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, they're all the fighters that have successfully been successful on the show. I'm just saying.
Don't they get everyone on Tough Talk?
Who's on the Tough Talk?
Don't they get everyone on Tough Talk?
I don't know. I thought I've only seen the people that are successful on the show on Tough Talk. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I mean, what it is. Everyone been on Tough Talk this season, but I think that everyone also from this season is going to be successful.
Yeah, possibly. They did a prank. Did you see that prank?
The defeated prank?
Yeah, the defeated prank. Did that even do anything to you guys?
Nah, I didn't see that at all. Like, when we came in, Mark never told us about it. We never seen it. You know what's funny? I actually thought about that prank the whole time. I'm like, hey, when are these guys going to come into our room and tape blue on our thing and say defeated? I knew at some point someone, because their one was orange. We didn't have like an orange tape thing, so I would have done it if it was theirs. But then I didn't even see that they did it until I watched it back on the season. That's the cool thing about watching back The Ultimate Fighter for me. I see a lot of things that I didn't see before, and that was one of them. But they did things like that. They put like Team Cormier, like they put like a little sign like saying House of Team Cormier or something at the front door and shit like that. I just didn't really care.
So
I just thought all that shit. Like, it was funny, but like at the same time, like childish shit. Like I said, I don't know, not my stuff.
What do you think about Tyler Diamond getting slapped by Nate Diaz?
Nate Diaz is a big Suman Mokhtarian fan. Ooh, Nate Diaz. Hey, listen. Tyler mouthed off. Tyler got slapped. That's just how it happens. I actually retweeted it when Tyler Diamond tweeted it. I retweeted it and said how Nate Diaz is my boy, and he obviously seen the first episode of TUF, and he didn't like the way he was talking to me.
You
But
think
it's pretty fucking crazy. Like,
it is?
the Nate Diaz just walks up, pushes fucking Clay Guida, and like Tyler was trying to do his like best me impersonation by breaking up a fight. He gets slapped.
You think he's gonna sue him? You think he's gonna sue him?
Tyler won't sue. Tyler might whine about it, but he won't sue anyone. Like, he's not that much. He's not a snitch. Oh, like he is, but he's not.
Well, he is a snitch because he put it all out there on
No, that's not a
social
snitch.
media.
Like, I don't find that as snitching on someone. I find snitching on someone like if you go to the police and you're like, hey, this motherfucker's like. If Tyler Diamond gives a statement, he's a snitch. Yeah. But if Tyler's like, hey, yo, you slapped me, next time I see you, it's on. It's not really snitching. It's just letting someone know it's on.
So so Colby Covington is a snitch.
Oh, Colby Covington's a snitch, bitch. I have zero respect for that man. Like, he came to Australia, gave a statement, got fucking Wadum charged. Be a fucking man. You got a boomerang chucked at you. Get over it. He gave a statement. I'm like, shit. I don't talk to people that give statements. Like, nah.
Yeah, I was thinking the other day about how different this show would have been if Colby Covington and Tyrone Woodley would have been the coaches.
Colby would be the coaches.
Yeah.
That was one of the thoughts that we had. We thought it might be Colby Covington and thing. And a lot of us said that we don't want to be on Colby's team. Like, a lot of us were like, fuck that. Like, if he's here, we're not going to be on the team. Let's see who would have stuck by. But I wouldn't have been on the team. I would have said, like, fuck that. Like, someone else got to pick me. I'll form my own team on that shit. Like,
that would have created such a crazy dynamic of the show where your own team doesn't want to be on your team, which creates a lot of conflict and good content for the Ultimate Fighter at the end of the day, right?
I'm extremely happy with our coaches, like both coaches. Like, I think it was the perfect dynamic this season. It's far different to like anything else. Like, my favorite season, like coaching wise, was Connor and Faber, because I thought that was good banner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it blew up like once or twice, but it was generally pretty good, like back and forth stuff. But like I liked the season, but I didn't like the coaching of like TJ and Cody Garbrandt. It was too much like arguments and shit. Like, this show wasn't about them, and that's the cool thing I think about like the coaches, kind of like they realized as the season went on, especially that it's not about them, it was about us, and they were like, both teams were like pretty supportive of that, you know. Even like you see little clips and you see little moments of like us arguing with the coaches, but like things like that happen, and I might have said something to Cormier and he got pissed off at me, or other fighters said something to Stipe, and like it happened heaps. But there was like, as much as there was like bad things that happened, there was like a lot of good things, and like a lot of the coaches from our team were there for them, and like our coaches were there for them, and they were there for us as well. Like, Cain Velasquez was like super cool guy, super helpful guy, and like even Duran, like after that we spoke and we both apologized to each other, and you know, we kind of like buried the hatchet and stuff, and you know, it's part of the environment and things that happen, you know. So it was cool to have all those guys around.
The TUF 27 finale poster comes out. You're in the center.
Bah!
Did you pay for that?
Hey, I guess, you know, the UFC needed a new poster boy.
What does that mean? Does that mean anything?
Honestly, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. But for like me, that's the coolest thing in the world. Like,
It
it
is.
really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make me any better than any of those guys. It doesn't make me any, like, further or anything like that. But for me, that's cool as fuck. Like, to be the middle of it, it's like as corny as it sounds, it's like a dream come true for me. Especially, me and my brother were actually talking about the Brad Tavares and Israel Adesanya fight last night. Like, Israel's from New Zealand. You know, I've seen him fight live before, and I've seen him around at shows and stuff a lot. Like, I think he's one of the most amazing fighters in the world. I know he copped a lot of criticism. I watched his fight that he had, his last fight that he had with Marvin Vettori last night, and his footwork is amazing. You know, and my brother, me and my brother watching him, my brother's like, man, the right hand is there for him every time. It's there for him every time. You know, why is he pulling back on it? I think he can put him away. And it's like Israel just thinks always a step ahead. Such an amazing fighter to watch. And then Brad Tavares, right? I was always like, he was one of my favorite guys from the Ultimate Fighter, because I remember I seen his big leg tattoo. Thought his leg tattoo was cool. I liked his fighting style. He was a tough guy, tough Hawaii. Like, I'm always into like the Hawaiian fighters. Like, I like those Islander fighters. They come with a lot of heart. So I was always a big Brad Tavares fan, especially since he knocked out Phil Baroni. That was one of my favorite knockouts ever in the UFC. And to see like a poster with like one of the new generation's greatest fighters coming up, you know, it's someone that could be the next Anderson Silva, could be the next John Jones, or as he likes to say, he is the only Israel Adesanya, someone who's that I believe can be that great. And Brad Tavares, and then have a poster of all the new undefeated fighters coming through and have me in the middle of it. I know that sounded like a lot of explaining, but it was cool. Like, to see that, wake up in the morning and see that poster was just an amazing feeling for me. To be on any UFC poster would be amazing for me. But for me to be front and center with all those guys that like I had such a great time with, and then be right under Israel and Brad, like, before I even get into the UFC, that's something that I'll remember.
Oh, definitely, man. Like, you can't even pay for that shit. That's something you can't pay for.
Yeah, man.
You know,
That's
so.
like that. It's price. It's, for me, that's priceless. You know, so I hope it's gonna be a great show, and you'll see me front and center, I guess.
For sure. All right, man. Well, next episode you're gonna fight, so there's gonna be
Yeah.
focused on you. They're gonna bring you into the front and see what you can do. Ricky Steele, I know that you've been posting a lot of stuff about him, like how you guys became friends during the show. So,
Yep.
but fighting is business, and you guys
Right.
gotta do what you guys gotta do. We'll
That's
see what
right.
happens.
Yeah, man. Like, Ricky and me. Like I said, I thought we were destined to fight. When we did the TUF trials in Vegas, the first time we went, when you had one person to roll with, I remember they called my name and it was Ricky. Me and Ricky rolled, and after that, I remember seeing Ricky hit the pads, and we kind of went through that process together. I met him, but we didn't really speak too much that first time. And then when we came back to Vegas, he was the first person I actually realized was in the house with me. I didn't know who the other contestants were. I seen him in the gym at the hotel that we were staying at before we went into the house, and first person I shared photos of my family with, and a guy that like he taught me a lot. You know, he taught me all about like chemtrails in America and stuff. And he's big on that government shit. But yeah, like it was a cool guy and someone that like I hung out with, played pool with a lot. And, it was a great experience getting to fight someone that you respect was a great feeling for me. You know, going in there, you know, no excuses. I went in there and I had fun.
For sure, man. We're gonna get to watch it next week, and we'll be back after your fight. You could break it down, which is crazy because you get to watch yourself. You already fought, but then you get to watch yourself fight, and then afterwards you're gonna be able to break it down for everybody, which is very rare for anybody to do. So, all right,
Yeah,
man. Let's shut it down.
I'll break it down, and I'll kind of because I've been thinking about this for the last like few weeks as well. next week when we talk about it and I break the fight down, I'll kind of speak about a little bit more about how I was feeling. The day of the fight, after the fight, because like a lot of the fighters are like, will say things, and I think that a lot of the inner thoughts that go through a fighter's mind, some fighters don't say, and I'm pretty open and stuff like that. So I'll give you guys a good insight. You'll probably hear some things that, like I said, not a lot of fighters will admit to, and it'll be good viewing.
For sure, man. Well, let's shut it down, and then next week I'll be talking to you, man.
No worries. Thanks, Val.